Swaminathan, Infosys co-founder and Congress candidate from Bangalore, recently visited an astrologer before filing his nomination papers. DMK leader MK Stalin turned up an hour late for an election rally in Tamil Nadu reportedly to avoid the inauspicious time of the day. And when party leaders are so superstitious, why should their followers be left behind? V. Vivek Kumar, an AIDMK supporter from Chennai, recently organized a yagna by a famous Delhi godman to improve party chief Jayalalitha's PM prospects. In a country where faith is prime importance, there is no doubt that an endorsement by holy men could help their respective parties considerably.
And political parties are willing to go all out to woo their voters and use these godmen as lobbyists in the election season. To take this conversation forward, we have in the studio with us Venkatesh, very senior journalist and somebody who has closely followed a lot of Swamis and Akhada Parishads as well. Tell us, Venkatesh, what have been your experiences and how strong is this affiliation or alliance between Swamis, godmen and their political masters?
It's a story that has continued, right from the early, electioneerings that we have had. Indira Gandhi had her own set of, Swamis and Acharyas to guide her. The same is the case with so many other, politicians, be it Devagowda, Chandrasekhar. I mean, the list is endless actually. So, this is a process that has continued for many decades. It has been part of our political system itself. And over the years, we think that that there is progress and there is greater rationalization happening in society. But at the same time, this is also growing. So, from Dhirendra Brahmachari and Mauni Baba to Swami Nityanand to Baba Ramdev to Sri Sri, the list is endless actually.
Right. But it's not just a political patronage, it's a two-way, reciprocal relationship. It's these Babas and godmen who also seem to get a lot out of their political masters, and political parties not only, like we saw in the video, not only take up auspicious timings for swearing in dates, for casting their votes, but they also go and perform or ask these godmen for their spiritual guidance in performing yagnas to better their prospects in elections. So how deep is this connection, and what all kind of a give and take occurs?
Give and take is one part of it. The other thing is I think the kind of attitude that we have, our attitude towards politics and society and life in general. There is a very strong stream of the irrational in the general approach of the Indian society as a whole. So I think you are finding reflection. The same thing finds reflection in the political process as well. You see people going to witch doctors even today going to witch doctors to get treatment for some ailments. So I think this is an extension of that. That is one part of it. The other part is the give and take part, is where politicians are able to give these godmen certain appeasements. They are able to give protection, patronage. On the other hand, the godmen with their sizable following, they also are able to transfer that following and make it into a kind of
vote bank.
Yeah. So this is how the process works. Then of course there are a lot of other kinds of games. The kind of games that politicians and the holy men play in terms of establishing and securing their own institutions and their own empires, as one could call it. So I think this whole process is a very, very unique process, and one has had a lot of personal experiences with this since the mid 1980s, when the Ayodhya movement was at its peak, when a whole group of sadhus and sons and mahants joined the bandwagon of the Sangh Parivar and the BJP. Right. And they had tremendous clout. Of course, some of them have lost clout now, and the Ramvilas Vedantis of the world are now criticizing the BJP. Yeah. But then at that moment you had the very powerful sons and mahants in the Ayodhya Ram Mandir movement, like somebody like Mahant Paramahans, Ramchandra Paramahans, who was the head of the Digambara Khada. He was somebody who used to wrestle every day with his disciples. I have seen him in action. And a day after the demolition of the Babri Masjid, we had gone to meet him because journalists were beaten up and were terrified to go there. And then he was playing a kind of board game called the Bagh Bakra. And when we went there, he laughed, very hearty laugh, and said, "इस खेल में तो बकरा जीत सकता है, लेकिन असली जिंदगी में जीत सकता है क्या?" Which was obviously a kind of allegory on all of us. So they're very colorful people, and also they're people with great depth. They're people with a lot of intrigue and a lot of mysticism. I mean, not mysticism also alone, but intrigue, plain intrigue also.
But if you see that everybody has known there's been proof of allegations of unscrupulous land deals, of fraud, a lot of serious allegations of rape and sexual misconduct with many of their followers. So we know that it's a clear-cut unholy nexus between how these Mahatmas and these Swamis function, and really what kind of political patronage they enjoy. We take the example of the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan, and he also, along with his wife, immediately after winning the elections went and thanked a particular Sant Maharaj. So you get to see how everything gets overlooked, and their empires continue to run, an unholy nexus and go on with kind of a misconduct.
I think there are two reasons to this. I mean, you can't certainly use this word of unholy nexus. Try telling that to your followers. You may almost get lynched. That is one aspect of it. So the following is a very, very important aspect of it. The other thing is, what I see from my own experience, the political system in this country, the political establishment, or large parts of the political establishment in this country, there is a kind of complicity, there is a kind of denial. They are not ready to accept the fact that that what they are doing is not democratic, that what they are doing is not constitutional, or what they are doing is not legal. So the lack of acceptance of this fact, I mean, the kind of the way in which they're able to kind of fool themselves, or kind of believe that that whatever they do is all right. So I think this dichotomy is very much at play, and that is what reflects in this thing. And this unholy nexus is not a word that you can throw in this context to anybody.
But there seems to be that they overlook the entire misdeeds.
No, it's part of the system, and they don't have to overlook it. It's a kind of very subconscious process. It's not as though they're not even aware of it.
Right. We have a young student joining us, Kunal Mathur, on a Skype video call. Thank you, Kunal, for joining into the conversation. Please tell us if you have a question or would you like to make a comment?
Well, I would like to make a comment and just a little question to the speaker.
Please go ahead, Kunal.
One is that, a comment is that the religion as such is deeply entrenched in our society. And so the presence of Godmen is obvious. And if we together as academia and media starts analyzing society and this phenomena as if we were outsiders, then I think that is wrong, because we are also a part of it. And to just straight away criticizing it and giving away labels like unholy nexus is denying the fact that it is actually the overarching theme of our society. So that is accepted. It is akin to roping in superstars in the South, because it dominates the life over there. And so when it comes to elections, roping in holy babas, or why only stick to one religion? All of them have their leaders dominating, is a good strategy if you speak only as a utilitarian aspect. But my question is, or rather a point to discuss, is that how come there has been no political leader or a party which has pointed this out, the blind following, and not actually educated the people, especially in the pockets where you have actually found misdeeds of these godmen. Why not educate them rather than actually giving them undue power by giving them this importance?
No, I think we are on the same point actually. I mean, I was also trying to
Yes.
say this, of course, yes,
Right.
that
Yes.
there
Yes.
is no way that you can wish away the nexus between holy men, their following, their importance in the political process. All these things you just cannot wish it away. Having said that, you're talking about educating people. For that, the answer is that the political class as such does not want to educate them or create a situation where all these things are made proper. See, the sense of ambiguity in this process that helps the politician as well as the holy man. So this ambiguity is not something which is crept in accidentally. It's there by design, and when they are doing it by design, they are not even aware that what they are doing is wrong. They accept it as a matter of fact. It is ingrained into the subconscious, and they are very happy doing all these things.
Kunal, do you have?
This is a very pessimistic approach. I would actually agree with you that kind of this akin to use of sex in corporate marketing campaigns, and so just because sex sells over there and religion sells over here, so we are forced to do it. But it's just not, in the marketing arena, in the corporate arena, it is strictly utilitarianism. You have to just cash in as much as you can, but when it comes to leading people in politics, there is some amount of ethics involved. And so while I agree with you that they they don't want to do it, but it's not too utopian to want somebody to stand up and point out the wrong things.
Kunal, how old are you?
I am 29, sir.
Yeah, good age to be idealistic actually. But then the fact remains that I have been a political journalist for very many years. I mean some 3 decades in fact, and if I think I'm entitled to a sense of cynicism, if not pessimism.
True. But I think what Kunal is also trying to say is that he is saying that we need to educate followers that there are certain kind of swamis who have the best interests of the society, who are trying to do good social work. They have health camps, they have centers. For instance, the Art of Living campaign, following has a lot of very educated class following, and people are not just blind followers. There is no witchcraft, there isn't somebody walking on somebody's bodies. There isn't anything of blind faith. So I think what point Kunal is trying to make is more of trying to educate people to choose the right type of swamis.
It's certainly a positive perspective, there's no doubt about it. But then as I was saying, if you interact too closely with politicians and the way they try to manage things in various realms of society, you tend to get a little cynical. I mean, so all that I was trying to say was that trying to respond to his kind of classification of my argument as a pessimistic argument. But having said that, I think Kunal has a very, very important point. But then the biggest question is, how will we do it, and who will do it?
Who will do it? And are we really mature enough to take it? Kunal, any other last comments that you have on this conversation that we are having?
Yeah, just one point that, taking the example of Shivraj Patil and the other politicians, the black sheep, it can be a correlation, but it cannot be a causation. So we should actually refrain from using terms like unholy nexus and respect the fact that religion runs deep in the society. So the government's presence is but natural.
Thank you, Kunal, for your very interesting take on it, and your perspective is appreciated. Thank you for joining us. Do call in and take this conversation forward on our Twitter handle and our website.
Thank you.
I think he does.
Thank
He
you,
does
sir.
make sense. He's saying it's an
Makes a
integral
lot of
part.
sense for somebody who has not crossed 30. There's no doubt about that. And it's a very balanced view, and I think very welcome. If only he becomes a politician and gets on to educating and taking people the right way, it would be very good.
But what happens, Venkatesh, when these godmen themselves want a ticket to contest or try and become larger than the political masters or the political patronage that they have been endorsing? Take the instance of Baba Ramdev. He challenged the so-called parties that he seemed to have been associated with. He questioned them and put out an open challenge in all his rallies that he held in the capital. What happens then?
The whole marketing technology is very different. You do a lot of good stuff. You do a lot of positive stuff. You hold health camps. You are able to kind of generate that kind of value in that. Along with that, there is this political ambition. There is this nexus between the political establishment and your own establishment, and it kind of leads to a different kind of empire, business empire, which has got very
questionable deals.
Very strong monetary roots.
Right.
Both legal as well as illegal. So this is a very complex thing, and I think one needs to understand these factors comprehensively before we think that that something positive can be done.
Right. We have a comment coming in on our website from Ritvik Narayanan, who says religion should not be mixed with politics. You can also give your voices and comments and take this discussion further and give us your views on our Twitter handle hashtag at IndiaPostLive, and on our website indiapostlive.com, and also on our Facebook page. And I wanted to discuss another aspect of this entire complex relationship, as we are saying. What happens when several of these godmen and swamis try and take favors, try and ask for favors. If the political masters and the parties that they have been supporting or lobbying for turn their back on them, what happens then?
Certainly, you have seen so many cases like that. There have been several instances where one godman or one holy institution is associated with a certain political stream or the other, and when that political stream is not strong enough or it is not in power,
they disassociate.
Yeah, they dissociate. I mean, this is something which we have seen, which has happened over and over again. And the holy establishment or the unholy establishment that tries to kind of retaliate as well. It is not as though it's kind of they take it lying down. And of course nowadays we have got very aggressive godmen like Baba Ramdev.
Right.
So who are very blatant about the way they take positions.
Also, Swami Agnivesh is also a case in point. When we talk on this factor of disassociating with a certain ideology that they were supporting. He was a very active vocalist in the India Against Corruption movement along with Kiran Bedi. He was closely he was in close relations with, he was closely associated with Anna Hazare and his movement and his ideology. And then suddenly you see that he wants to break away from Arvind Kejriwal or the Aam Aadmi Party and wants nothing to do with their political ambitions.
No, I think Swami Agnivesh has done very significant work in several areas. But then there have been allegations against him also. It's not as though there have been no allegations against him. But I think one thing that can be said about certainly about him, that that he has never sought to get favors from the political establishment. Whether the political establishment is in his favor or not is in his favor, he has very steadfastly tried to build up his organization. He has tried to take his work forward through people's participation. I think that's something which we have to say about him.
Right. What about when these swamis or these holy institutions, spiritual institutions, try and lobby for a particular candidate? We've heard a lot of undercurrent undercurrent coming for the BJP's East Delhi candidate Mahesh Giri. He's said to have enjoyed a lot of clout with a certain section of the spiritual movement. Do you believe that sort of pressurizes or all political parties are willing to give in to such kind of demands?
It's not, as I was saying, there is no question of pressurizing or anything. It's a very beautiful
understanding.
Beautiful understanding. It's an understanding which has got, which has got all the dimensions of a pot boiler. There are very many dimensions to it, and politics is only one part of it.
Right, right. We have a Skype caller also coming in from Delhi, from Mumbai, sorry. Uh, right. I apologize, the Skype caller is from Delhi. Thank you so much for joining in, Manasvi. Do you have a question and a comment?
Yeah, I have a question actually. I've been hearing on the discussion, and it's very sad to see that religion and politics are so intertwined, and it is taking a turn for the worse at this point in time. So my question is, how do you get out of this vicious web? Yes, I understand that the godmen have a lot of followers. Yes, I understand that the politicians can benefit from it. But don't you think it's a bit too easy for the politicians then if they're just following, allying with Godman and just taking his followers who are any which way might just be blindly trusting him? So how do you get out of this vicious
Well,
web?
I think I will not answer this question because I have been too long in this business of observing politics and government. But I will turn around and ask you a question. What is your idea of religion? What is your idea of God? And what is your idea of politics?
My idea of religion and God have nothing to do with politics, actually. So I would say that my idea of religion is something that we are not born with, but when we are born, we are thrown in that direction. So if I am a Hindu, I have to be a certain way. I have to follow a certain rules according to my parents and their parents, etc. God, I think, is a higher being. He's there. You have somebody guiding you, yes. But politics has nothing to do with it. Politics is something that has absolutely nothing to do with religion and God, for me at least. It's something that a human being is, they grow up, they see what's going around in the society themselves, and they take upon themselves to change what is wrong. So that's what politics should be about. And I don't know how it's not that and it's everything else. So yeah, that's my answer to your question.
Are you a student or are you working?
I'm working.
Okay.
So Manasvi, would you at all cast your vote for a particular candidate, maybe from your constituency, who seems to have leanings towards a particular religious belief or a particular spiritual movement? Would you have a hesitation, or would you support the person regardless of their religious leanings?
I don't, again, like I said, religion has nothing to do with it. If the person is working for the society, if the person is capable enough to make some sort of a change in the future, for me, is more important than anything else. So religion has nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing.
So I have a question for her. Uh, what what is the kind of traction that what you believe in has with your peer group?
Um, as in, do the others believe the same kind of belief that I have? Is that the kind of question you're asking?
Would you be able to influence them in this kind?
Yes, I would. I don't really have to influence them, particularly because I think everybody in my peer group at least thinks the same way. If you ask anybody my age, coming from the background that we come from, middle class, upper middle class also, if you say, will believe somewhere or the other that religion has nothing to do with politics. At least the people I interact with, people that I talk to on a day-to-day basis, think the same way.
So you think
So,
it's essentially the politician's problem? You don't think that's the problem of the society?
No, the problem obviously stems out from the society as usual. It's very difficult to say, or it's very easy to say that it's the politician's problem. It's the society's problem. We are, the politician is a part of the society, right? He came out of us. He was one of us. Today, if I am contesting for an election, I was a part of the society earlier. So, so I don't think it's the fault of the politician. I don't blame the politician. I blame the society thoroughly. And I am a part of that same society. So, yeah.
So where do we stand finally?
We stand that we try and change the society, we try and change our own mindset. I think that's what's important at this point in time.
Thank you, Manasvi. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and being so frank about what your beliefs are and what you would look for in a political candidate. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you.
That was Manasvi joining in from Delhi with her thoughts. You can also join in and continue this conversation. We would like to give voice to your voice and hear your comments on whether politicians and swamis and godmen have a close alliance and who gets some more advantage out of it. Venkatesh, I wanted to know, the BJP has been leading this brigade as of now. It started with the Congress, like you said, in the 80s, with Chandraswamy having immense clout in the kind of decisions.
Before that, Dhirendra Brahmachari.
Right. So right now, probably in the south of India, where in Kerala especially, the BJP seems to be having some niggling problems. They have in fact roped in a lot of priests, to contest this year. They've offered tickets to a lot of priests and reverends. So, do you believe they're hoping that will be a game changer, or they'll be able to get a certain section of a minority community?
I don't think that they are looking at that, but then they want to create this image that that they are much more than the Sangh Parivar or much more than the Hindutva brigade. So there is a conscious effort to kind of
Break away from there.
Not break away, to create that image. It's not a question. If they break away, then they'll have a problem politically. So I don't think that it's a question of trying to break away or anything. It's essentially a question of creating a new image.
Right.
Yeah, but then this godmen and the holy institutions who have political connections and political nexus, that's not confined to just the Hindutva brigade.
Right.
You have lot of Muslim clerics who have got the similar kind of clout and similar
Influence.
and also the Christian and also the Sikh organization. So it's not confined to one community as such.
Right.
It's a much more broad-based thing. As I was saying, politics is only one aspect of it. I mean, there is a larger monetary dimension to it. There is a financial economic dimension to it, which spreads to very many areas. It's not just confined to one area.
But what happens when these monetary transactions come under the scanner? There are a lot of allegations of land deals, of fraud, by the followers, or followers being taken and conned by these, holy godmen. So what happens when it's these political parties whose image is being dented, by the people that they are endorsing and supporting?
The political party's image it's not carved in stone or anything like that. They know that allegations come and allegations go. They know that, and also the public memory is a very short thing. It's kind of almost ephemeral. So beyond all this, they also have the support base of these godmen. And like, for example, there have been godmen who have been accused of serial sexual crime.
Right.
And the kind of support they still continue to have after being investigated, after being put in jail, it's not a joke. So,
And it doesn't deter their political masters from...
Absolutely.
But then where is the rationality? Will our Indian elections, will our Indian political process ever see some sort of rationality?
You're talking to a cynic. So, with my experience of 3 decades as a political journalist, somebody who's very closely observed politics as well as the kind of games that Mahants and Sons and other holy men of other dimensions play, I think it's very difficult to get away from this, because this sense of ambiguity, the sense of dichotomy is there. It's ingrained in society. Perhaps what I'm going to say now may infuriate a lot of passions, but then of course, this has been stated by many analysts and observers. If you look at the whole stream of Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna tells Arjuna that that you have to do your karma without looking for the result. Karmaneva adhigaraste ma phaleshu katajana. That's what Sri Krishna says. But then when he tells Arjuna, and when he kind of compels him to take up cudgels, take up the Gandiva and fight against his own brothers, he knows the end result of the war. he knows that, the end result of the war is that, that if the Pandavas have to win, then Arjuna has to fight. So, but then what he tells him is something totally different. He says that your job is to do just your karma and not think about the phala. So, this is an observation which has been made by many rational thinkers, and I think you see the extension of this mindset, this thinking in all streams of life, including politics, including the holy man business.
Thank you, Venkatesh. On those thoughts, we will have to wrap up, and we will have to decide in this election season whether young voters will probably vote for religion or development. What will be the choices? But this kind of close alliance between the Swami Brigade and our politicians seems to be only growing and getting stronger. You can continue this conversation and take it forward with your comments and views on our Twitter handle #IndiaPostLive and our website indiapostlive.com. Thank you for joining us.